It was known as Alcatraz of the East. In 1908, on the southern tip of Seaveys Island, Kittery, Maine, where the nation's first public shipyard was built in 1800, the Navy finished construction of the Portsmouth Naval Prison, known as the Castle for its appearance and the Rock for its location.
There was information, but there wasn't a book on the Portsmouth Naval Prison, and that's what I really wanted.
Author and professor Katie Kramer has spent the last 10 years researching the history of the naval prison. Her recent book uncovers rarely seen images of this storied building and its convicts, naval sailors, and Marines. The prison and its urban legends have great appeal for anyone who has gazed upon this massive concrete medieval structure.
I mean, this place has been closed since 1974, and people are still gravitating to any news that comes out of it. It's just a fascinating place, you have to admit. And I went to the Boston Archives, and I read the Commandant's annual reports, and I read the logs, and they were very, very telling. They wrote well, it was detailed, and it was like a novel, at least for me.
Legend has it that no prisoner ever escaped these walls. True?
That was one of the things that surprised me, is that people escaped. That was my first big aha. I thought, well, for heaven's sake.
In fact, 4 prisoners hatched a rather creative plot to escape during movie night at the prison. While inmates and guards were watching the film, the 4 managed to get scissors and a rope, cut a hole in the ventilation, hoist themselves to the roof, and then climb to the bottom.
Nobody knew that they were gone, at least at that point. They broke into a lieutenant's quarters. They found his suit and his wife's, 3 dresses from his wife, and his blue Studebaker. They dressed as 3 women and a man, got into the car, and drove into the night through the front gates of the prison.
The men were caught days later. Years later, one of the men escaped and was never captured. Another myth? If a prisoner escaped, the guard would have to serve out the remainder of the convict's sentence. Not true. Fact or fiction? The prison was the inspiration for Walt Disney's Cinderella Castle.
I've heard that a lot. No, Walt Disney was not here. And I don't know where that came from. I did find a Disney in the logs, and I spent a lot of time tracking that down, but it wasn't Walt.
Fact or fiction? Humphrey Bogart was a guard.
That's a good question. Stars and Stripes, the military magazine or newspaper, says and swears up and down that yes, in fact, he was. And I think many people in the military take that for true, and it in fact may be. I could not find it. I looked in a lot of his biographies, and nobody mentioned the military service or the fact that he'd gotten a scar when a prisoner tried to escape, right?
It was this man, prison commander Thomas Osborne, a progressive who believed in rehabilitation over punishment. World War I was raging, and his goal was to reform inmates and send them back to the fleet.
But he came over here and he turned this place upside down, upside down.
During Osborne's tenure, the Portsmouth prison was more like a farm than Alcatraz.
He sent all the Marine guards away, and he let the prisoners rule themselves. And they did for all the time he was there. They were not living in cells for the most part. A few were, but most of them were living in half-decent housing down there. And it was a very different type of thing, and they were out doing work. They always are out doing work, but it wasn't as confining, and it wasn't as demanding, and it wasn't as hard.
When the war ended, the Navy forced Osborne out, and hard times returned for inmates at the Portsmouth prison. Yet reform had taken root, and inmates were given a second chance.
I brought prisoners back to Torrid on occasion, and they actually credit their stay there, their incarceration, for actually helping them.
Joe Gluckhart is the historian at the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard Museum. There is a corner in the museum dedicated to the prison. Artifacts like handcuffs and leg irons, even a football that inmates used.
Up there, you had to be careful how far the ball went, of course. If it got anywhere near the guard towers. They had to stop and make sure the guards saw them before they could go and retrieve the ball and hold it up and make sure the prison guards saw that ball. So I don't know if the ball was still in play during that part, or if everybody got to take a timeout or not. But it's still a neat story.
Joe has a funny story about the connection the prison has to the glamorous and historic Wentworth by the Sea Hotel, located just across the Piscataqua River.
Of course, the prisoners would look across the river and wonder what prison that was, looking at the Wentworth, and then the people vacationing in the summer at the Wentworth would look across the river and see the prison and wonder what hotel that was. So.
By the time it closed in 1974, 86,000 military inmates passed through the front doors of this brig.
It is a historical artifact, if you will. Certainly something that's been a landmark along the river since 1908.
For Katie Kramer, the prison's storied past, a mix of mystery and maritime history, prompted her to ask the questions and find the answers herself.
So there was a period where I thought, no, I'm going to do something else, but it sang to me. I couldn't put it down. I think, and I know it is a cliche, but I think I got more out of writing this book than the people who are reading it do. Truly, it's been a gift. It has.